First, thanks for inviting me for this event. I love the concept of road to status. I think it's gonna solve so many people's real problem. Immigration is a huge, huge obstacle for a lot of people to be doing what they are best at doing. I think what Immigration Heritage Month does is it brings a limelight to not just like a day of the year, but an entire month where you can look at all the immigrants of what they have done in America, in and what their heritage is. So it's extremely important for uh, creating awareness among everyone else of what immigrants bring to this country. So I like my piece of advice to them is don't break the law, but there is a lot of gray area in what you do, especially if you are an immigrant. Do it as soon as you see some potential in whatever you decide to do. Take the legal course of action and be legal in US. They should talk to as many people as they can who have been in similar boats and have been successful. US immigration system was last modified more than 30 years ago, but there are still a lot of ways to be in US and to do what you are supposed to do. So to give you an example, I have a PhD and it was very difficult even for a PhD candidate to start a company in US. So I started the company, went back to my original country, got funded, applied for a legal work visa and moved to US. And there are ways to do it. I was born and brought up in India. I did my undergrad there. I started a company. My master's or my undergrad in India was on nanotechnology, and I started a company with my advisor in India to build nanomaterials. But soon I realized that my advisor and I were not thinking alike, and I needed to be an expert in doing something or starting something. So I applied for a PhD program, came to US, did my PhD, published 17 papers, won multiple outstanding research achievement awards. But while I was finishing up my PhD, I realized that whatever I've done won't see the light for the next 20 years because it was extremely futuristic. And I wanted to do something right then. So I just started the company as soon as I finished my PhD into a space that I was very passionate about, which is education. Uh, I want to bring the achievement gap between the low income kids and the wealthy kids and give them accessibility to the education that they deserve. I think education can solve a lot of big problems. It's very personal. I spent more than 10 years doing chemistry and nanotechnology. Basically, my youth was spent in specializing in something that has nothing related to what I do now. So, when I thought of starting a company, everyone I talked to, especially my family, were, "Are you crazy? You have spent so much time, energy, effort in becoming an expert in nanotechnology, and now you are saying you want to start something which has nothing related to nanotechnology." And I said, learning comes in different modalities. Although I have a PhD in nanotechnology, I am still very passionate about education. And what I've learned at PhD is not just nanotechnology but problem solving. And I'm still young. I'm gonna risk it. I will see what becomes of it. And here we are. And my parents are, at this point, my family are extremely proud of what we do and what it has become. I will give you a very simple answer and a long answer. There was a thing decided by US government that they want to digitize a lot of immigration online. In 2003 or 2004. In the last 12 years, after spending more than $1 billion, out of the 800 forms that are somewhat related to immigration, they have been able to digitize one of them. One of them after spending $1 billion. So anything you can do to make it two, you are solving $1 billion problem. From the user perspective, just to get a tourist visa in place, the amount of documentation that is required to apply for it is insane. To bring my brother and sister, brother and his wife or my sister to US to visit me is a nightmare. For illegal immigrants, a road to status, or like undocumented immigrants, road to status, solving that problem is not just a monetary problem, inconvenience problem, it's a human problem that you guys are solving, and like it's phenomenal.